Netflix has not yet greenlit Season 2 of Squid Game, but given the streaming platform's history for renewing successful Netflix original shows like Stranger Things and Bridgerton, we have a feeling we won't have seen the last of the Squid Game competitors. Here's everything you should expect in Squid Game Season 2. The ending. At the end of Season 1, only Gi-hun and Cho Sang-woo remain in the competition. Gi-hun is ultimately the winner, but at the last moment offers his hand to Sang-woo, only for the latter to take his own life. The frontman then explains to Gi-hun that the Squid Game is a form of entertainment for the rich, in much the same way people bet on horses. We then see winner Gi-hun being dropped off in an unknown location and going home to see his mother, only to find her dead. The episode then jumps a year into the future and Gi-hun looks even worse, and one night he gets one of those mysterious business cards again and shows up at the time and place to find a supposedly dead Il-nam, aka Player 1 from the games, aka the owner of the game, in an elegant hospital bed. After their talk, Gi-hun heads to the airport to visit his daughter in the US when he sees the handsome recruiter from the games hustling another poor potential contestant, and that changes his mind and he doesn't board the plane. Okay, that ending obviously sets the series up for a second season. There are literally tons of questions left unanswered. Like, did Il-nam help Gi-hun make it through the games alive? How deep does the conspiracy go? Is Gi-hun going to fight back, or will he fold again? Did he help anyone else besides the families of SAE-BYEOK and Sang-woo? There's obviously so much Season 2 has to offer. Cast. Since most of the characters in Squid Game have already died, the number of returning characters will likely be limited. Gi-hun and the man who recruited participants at the train station will most likely feature for a second series. The finale also sets up a conflict between Gi-hun and the games and the potential for a new cast of players to be introduced who could join Gi-hun's fight or devote themselves to trying to win. We also expect to see the frontman and probably the VIPs. The dead could also return in flashbacks, but the majority of Season 2's cast will likely be made up of newbies. Plot. While speaking to RadioTimes.com, writer and director Hwang Dong-hyuk revealed that a second season of Squid Game is not yet fully formed in his mind. He said, "I do realize there are huge expectations for Season 2. It's not that I haven't thought about Season 2 at all, and I also do have a rough framework for it. But I keep asking myself whether I can make it better than Season 1. I don't want people to get disappointed over the new season." He went on to explain that he may even try to incorporate some of the many fan theories that are circulating online to help him create a pleasing show, adding, "If I ever make Season 2, I'll try to look up those many ideas, and of course, if there are any good ones, I can bring them into the story. Since I prefer writing alone, maybe all these ideas on YouTube can function as my writer's room. Or maybe I can even ask the fans on social media to give ideas. In the meantime, I will try and think more while I work on films." So the writer and fans have been thinking about the game endlessly, and here are the possible directions Squid Game could go. Focus on the frontman. In the series, we find out that Junho's brother is the frontman, having taken on a senior role at the game after winning as a contestant in 2015. But we don't know why he decided to join forces with the competition that made him kill several people. Writer-director Hwang Dong-hyuk actually revealed that focusing on the frontman could be a possible direction for Season 2. He told Variety, "I thought about the stories that could be in Season 2 if I get to do one. One would be the story of the frontman. I think the issue with police officers is not just an issue in Korea. I see it on the global news that the police force can be very late on acting on things. There are more victims or a situation gets worse because of them not acting fast enough. This was an issue that I wanted to raise. Maybe in Season 2 I can talk about this more." Yep, we definitely can talk more about that. Well, the frontman himself wasn't a police officer. His brother was, of course, and spent most of Season 1 hiding behind a soldier mask in a red suit, and he tried to find out what had happened to his apparently missing brother. However, the frontman's role in the game was very much about maintaining order and a dark, satirical echo of his brother's role in society, and we are totally up for a series that probes the meaning of the social order in the way that Season 1 tackled capitalism. Flashback. We've seen shows successfully venture into the past as a way to tie loose ends, and Squid Game already set up the perfect scenario for that. Junho, in his quest to find evidence, makes his way into the frontman's inner sanctum to discover comprehensive files on each and every player in Squid Game history. This includes files on players dating back to the 90s, and considering the size of the archives room, there could be files that go back even further. Squid Game Season 2 could settle unresolved mysteries and unanswered questions by exploring the contents of these files and taking a step into the past. If Squid Game Season 2 focuses on the first time the games were organized, Il-nam could return as the young billionaire who founded the games. This will reveal the very roots of Squid Game, the first VIPs who organized and betted on the games, as well as how the island was set up into an optimized death games arena. Relationship between Player 1 and Player 456. These two players obviously had a striking relationship, and word on the street is that Il-nam, the old man who was both the chief source of Gi-hun's redemption and the evil genius behind the games, was more than just a creator. He was, in fact, Gi-hun's father. Just consider how emotionally invested he was in Gi-hun from an early stage. Well, it could have all been a matter of gratitude for Gi-hun's kindness, but it could be something more, especially when you consider the occasion when he gave him his dry jacket in exchange for Gi-hun's, which was covering his pee stain. Fans actually believe that Player 1 was protecting Player 456 from the soldiers, who we now know would never shoot Player 1. To fuel the story even further, both players lived in the same neighborhood, and Gi-hun, like Il-nam's son, did not take milk. Something else. Remember the bit of chat about what day it was and the old man asked, "Is it the 24th?" He wanted to know because he thought his son's birthday was coming up, and he wanted to get him a present. Now, cast your mind back to when Gi-hun stole his mother's cash card and tried to use it at the ATM. The first pin he tried was his own birthday, 0426, which is as close to the 24th as it gets. There are too many coincidences between the two, and Season 2 could possibly shed more light on that relationship. Another country. There is also a possibility that Squid Games aren't just based in Korea, so given the international scope of this project, it's entirely possible that a second season could take place somewhere else entirely. In Episode 7, VIPs, we learn that the game we've been watching is not the only one of its kind. One of the men who comes to watch the competition in person mentions that the game in Korea is the best this year, implying that the games are happening all over the world. If Netflix wanted to produce another season of Squid Game, an interesting angle would be to take us to a Squid Game in another country. However, the problem with that is this show is a Korean production, which would make it hard to suddenly move everything to a new country. But anything is possible. The Employees. A second series could explore the employees' story more, and the director Hwang told RadioTimes.com in an exclusive interview that he may look into the theory around the color of the dakji cards a contestant chooses, with some thinking that choosing the blue card makes you a contestant, while choosing the red card makes you an employee. Rather than the players, Season 2 could potentially focus on the workers, considering many of them were actually alive at the end of the series, unlike the players. Gi-hun as a worker. Gi-hun's fiery new red-dyed hairdo could be a sign that he's going to infiltrate Squid Games as a worker the next time he gets involved in the games. Moreover, Il-nam's death could ensure that Squid Games organizers won't take away Gi-hun's billions, even if he does move against the games, which means that he has the resources necessary for any type of revenge plan. And Gi-hun was fated to stop the games from the start. Being the last contestant, 456, represents the end of the Squid Games as a long-running institution, compared to 1, who symbolizes the game's origins. By this logic, Season 2 could see Gi-hun carry out a mission to stop the deadly tradition, but obviously not without a fight. The Salesman. Given that Gong Yoo, the character who played the salesman, is such a big character, viewers say that there's no way that he was just given the role of a salesman. He could play a larger role in the bigger picture, such as being the old man's son who is going to continue the games. It does make sense, given that the salesman is the one who's recruiting everyone for each game and already plays a large part in continuing the games. Kang SAE-BYEOK'S little brother will join Squid Game in Season 2. It's the 9th and final episode of Squid Game. Gi-hun caps off Kang SAE-BYEOK and Cho Sang-woo's backstories by putting Kang Chul, SAE-BYEOK'S little brother, in the care of Sang-woo's mother. Gi-hun also gives a sizable amount of money to Sang-woo's mother, who is unaware that his son is dead and will never come back. Meanwhile, by ensuring that Kang Chul ends up in a nice home, Gi-hun fulfills his promise to SAE-BYEOK. Of course, Kang Chul will eventually find out about Squid Game, and he will probably be inclined to join, as he can use the money to get the rest of their family out of North Korea. Well, that will only occur if Squid Game Season 2 happens far enough into the future for Kang Chul to become an adult, or at least a teenager. Blackpink's Genie will compete as a player in Season 2. There's a possibility that Blackpink member Genie may star as a player in Squid Game Season 2. Some people on TikTok believe it's likely because she's a fan of the series and was spotted on set during the first season. Specifically, she was seen sitting next to actress Jung Ho-yeon in her bed, and it was also reported that she sent snacks to the cast members. As you can see, the possible directions Season 2 could go are endless. But when could fans actually expect the second season? Release date. We first heard about Netflix's Squid Game back in 2019. It then took another 2 years for filming and production to finish up. So it's likely we wouldn't see a second season until 2023, maybe even 2024. Writer-director Hwang Dong-hyuk also told Variety that working on Squid Game was pretty challenging. So it's likely he wouldn't want to jump headfirst into a second season without giving it some in-depth thought. He said, "In my earlier days, I'd drink half a bottle of Korean liquor to get the creative juices flowing. I can't do that anymore." Writing Squid Game was harder than normal for me as it was a series, not a film. It took me 6 months to write and rewrite the first 2 episodes. Then I consulted verbally with friends and picked up clues for improvements through my own pitching and from their responses. Dong-hyuk is also currently working on a film titled KO Club, so it might take a while for him to write a second season for Squid Game. Well, considering the success of the show, he may get the necessary help, and fans could even get the next season as early as 2022. Are you looking forward to Squid Game Season 2? What do you think will happen in the second season? Sound off in the comment section below. This is The Focus.
They love it when I turn up the bass.